So Hugh, I suppose our whole lives are controlled by computers these days. What was it like then?
Oh, well, in those days, the internet was in black and white. It was only on for 3 hours a day. We used to get dressed up in our Sunday best to log on to it. We'd log on to letsbuyit.com and order a gas mask and a pound of tripe. Then when we finished with the computer, we'd switch it off and we'd all stand up and sing the national anthem.
What about the entertainment? How did you amuse yourselves?
Well, we used to gather around the piano and sing Peter Andre songs. And while we were singing, we'd be showing off our pecs. My dad had a lovely six-pack. Cheeseburgers were a penny then.
Hello, Hugh. I was just thinking how other people scare us. Come in.
Yeah.
So Hugh, what about courting? How did you go out with a lady?
Well, you couldn't just jump into bed with a lady back then. You go along to her house and you'd ask her parents if you could knock her up and get her on crack. If they said yes, you'd take her along to a junglist mash-up. It was called jungle then, not drum and bass, so it came later.
So what sort of things did you go out and see of an evening?
Oh, we go to the music halls. All the variety acts were then, and Lily Savage and Kirsty Young. I remember Chris Tarrant was working the halls. He'd come on and he'd say, "But we don't want to give you that." It was very funny for the first year.
Hello, Hugh. I'm just trying to avoid being ravaged by time's withered claw. Is it the same for you, being old?
Yeah.
So Hugh, I suppose life was very different in the old days.
It was very different. We never had sushi. We had to improvise. So we'd go to the fish shop and say, "Don't bother frying it." Or my mother would make some sushi out of corned beef.
And I suppose it was very exciting in the old days when some new things came along.
Well, I certainly remember the first set of Star Wars films, long before Phantom Menace. And when Return of the Jedi came out, there were street parties. George V came out to see it, and we were all given a silver sixpence with a picture of Queen Victoria on one side and a picture of Jabba the Hutt on the other.
Hugh smells of memories. Hello, Hugh. I've just realised I've got no friends. Is that something you're increasingly aware of in your old age?
Yeah.
So, Hugh, what sort of living hell did you go through in those days?
Well, the war started in 1939 and I joined the army. I was stationed in Kent until 1941. 1942 was my gap year.
Hello, Hugh. Hiya, I was just worrying whether I'm becoming one of those dullards who cack on all the time about things being better in the old days. Have you got anything to add, being an old man?
No.
So, Hugh, how did you all amuse yourself in those days?
Well, we didn't have hundreds of television channels in those days. We just had to make our own entertainment from the basic Sky package. No one ever watched Sky News, because those were the days when we still had rumbelows.
Was there much entertainment?
Well, the music was different then. Mike Oldfield had just brought out Tubular Bells 4. He said he did it to get away from the whole Tubular Bells 3 thing that had been hanging over him like an albatross.
Hello, Hugh. I was just wondering whether we're all drowning in porn. Do you want to come in?
Yeah.
So, Hugh, I imagine in the old days the food was very different.
Well, beef was very scarce then, on account of infected animal feed. So we all had ostriches. My dad had an ostrich farm.
Really?
And I used to help him. I'd muck out the ostriches in the morning and hose them down. And I remember one day someone came in and said the high-altitude bombing of Kosovo had been a limited success. So we all ran out and celebrated by killing an ostrich and boiling it in kiwi fruit.